Sorry, wasn't expecting you quite yet. So let's look at Matthew chapter 7, verses 24 to 29. Verse 24, everyone who hears these words of mine and puts them into practice is like a wise man who built his house on the rock. So the good builder, represented by Stephen in the yellow top here, he built his house on the rock. It says that at the end of verse 24. So who is the rock? Well, we know that the rock is Jesus. We have to build on the rock. Look, he's got his good, solid foundation there. Now the foolish builder, who is played by Diane here, built his house on the sand, was really happy and confident, but it was built on the sand. What will we have as the foundation in our life? Will I have Jesus as the foundation? We can do a very simple test to know if we have Jesus as the solid rock in our life. And it's in this Bible passage. Very simply, do we listen to his words in the Bible? So Jesus says in verse 24, everyone who hears these words of mine and puts them into practice. We can't just hear them, we have to put them into practice. So the simple test is, are we listening to Jesus' words and then putting them into practice? And they're the words of the Bible. That's his word to us.
James chapter 1 verse 22. Do not merely listen to the word and so deceive yourselves. Do what it says.
It makes sense. We need to not just hear the Bible, but to take it seriously and to ask for God's help to do it. And in chapter 7 verse 21, Jesus has already said, not everyone who comes to me and says, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven. The problem, as we see with the foolish builder in verse 26, is that they hear the words but they don't put them into practice. Whoa, let's not be like that. The wise and the foolish person are both working away, hard. They're both very busy in their lives and trying to get everything working. And they're both equally pleased with their work. But there's only one that it works out well for, in the end. So when is the test? Well, the key thing to notice is the test is not now. The test is either when we die and go and stand before Jesus, or when he comes back and returns to judge this world, to see who is his. The test is when the storm comes. That's Jesus' judgment. And we need to be ready so that we can stand then in that day. The test isn't now. Everyone feels okay now. We need to make sure now that we have the foundation for when the flood comes of Jesus' judgment.
Matthew 7:13-14. Enter through the narrow gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the road that leads to destruction, and many enter through it. But small is the gate, and narrow the road that leads to life, and only a few find it.
Well, in the story, everything starts to change. The rain comes. The rain came down, the streams rose, and the winds blew and beat against the house. And we're going to see what happens to it. Watch out, Stephen. I think Diane's about to soak you. Whoa! One has no chance at all. Comes crashing down. The foundation wasn't good enough, it was sand. You know, everything outside of Jesus is just sinking sand. Don't be like the foolish builder. It will be too late when the storm comes. Are you building your life on Jesus and his words? He becomes our rock when we agree with his words and listen to what he says. when we say sorry for our sin and believe in Him as our Lord and our rescuer.